This issue has been going on for two and a half years now. I think it started during the campaign.
The whitehouse.gov, Obama's long-form birth certificate, whitehouse.gov. So we're going to click on that. Here's what everybody's been looking at today. Here's the document.
We know they've been covering up his records. They've spent millions of dollars blocking lawsuits about this. Why didn't they just release it? If we go back 2.5 years ago, they released the receipt of the live birth, not the birth certificate, and told everybody this was it, and it was a birth certificate, and no long form existed, and you were a conspiracy theorist if you said something else existed. Now they've released this, so remember that lie. And then Rob and others in the office, all the Photoshop people, all the video editors, including folks with degrees from universities in this, came to me and they said, my God, this is totally fake. Then they went and checked the big Photoshop sites, as I said, and they're all saying this is fake.
If they scanned this, which they say they did, it would all be on one layer. However, here there are multiple layers, as you can see, and even inside these there's more. This is the original one, and I'll toggle the visibility of that so you can see the stuff that was original. Everything else has been added on. This layer, for instance, contains a whole bunch of fake stuff. You can really see it. One interesting thing, let me zoom in so you can see, I'll enhance this. If you draw something, such as a signature, in ink, you can see all these pixels. You can see where it's different colors. That's because ink on paper, it's not one solid color. It creates different colors, and when you scan it, the scanner obviously detects the different colors. Like this D right here for the signature, that is done in pen. But as you can clearly see beside it, this is all one solid color. This is added on the computer.
Our government is insane. I mean, what is this? What is the point?
It looks like a joke.
There's different colors. They didn't even match the colors right. It's all fake, but the really interesting part is somewhere out there, there is a real birth certificate.
We provided additional information today about the site of my birth.
Donald Trump is not backing away from the firestorm of controversy he ignited this week on The View when he called out the President of the United States about his birth certificate.
The fact is that we have not seen his birth certificate. I assume, I would hope he has a birth certificate. I'm sure you do. I know I do. I'm a really smart guy. I've always been a really smart guy. I want to see his birth certificate. I understand members of his family are disputing which hospital he was born in. They don't even know which hospital he was born in. He spent a lot of money to keep this out of print. Why can't he produce a birth certificate? Why wouldn't you show it? If it exists, why wouldn't you show it? There is something very strange going on.
What do you think the most important thing is for Barack Obama? Obviously, you're here to talk about the anniversary for U.S.-China diplomatic relations, but if you had to say this is going to be the country or the conflict or the place that will define the Obama administration, what would it be?
Its task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity.
I'm a Christian by choice.
Which passages of Scripture should guide our public policy? Should we go with Leviticus, which suggests slavery is okay? Or we could go with Deuteronomy, which suggests stoning your child?
Assalamu alaikum. As the Holy Quran tells us, the Holy Quran teaches that I'm a Christian. The precepts of Jesus Christ spoke to me in terms of the kind of life that I would want to lead. And the Holy Quran also says...
Or should we just stick to the Sermon on the Mount, a passage that is so radical that it's doubtful that our own Defense Department would survive its application? Folks haven't been reading their Bible.
single words I never said. It's pretty politically charged. Though going against Obama.
My fight against terrorism, to me, the biggest terrorist is Obama and the United States of America.
President Obama today proposed something new, something called prolonged detention. Pre-crime is where people are arrested and incarcerated to prevent crimes that they have not yet committed. You didn't do anything, but you're gonna. Future murder. Creepy, right? Putting somebody in jail not for what they've done, but for what you're very sure they're going to do.
There may be a number of people who cannot be prosecuted for past crimes. In some cases because evidence may be tainted, but who nonetheless pose a threat to the security of the United States.
We're not prosecuting them for past crimes, but we need to keep them in prison because of our expectation of their future crimes.
They put this in a Department of Homeland Security document, this official assessment, now saying pro-lifers, people that believe in end-time prophecies, people that are opposed to the administration's position on immigration, those of us that are standing up for the sanctity of life and for the sanctity of marriage, all of those are now potential, and this is what they're saying, domestic terrorists.
Terrorists and their affiliates are at war with the United States, and those that we capture, like other prisoners of war, must be prevented from attacking us again.
Prevented. We will incarcerate people preventively. Preventive incarceration. Indefinite detention without trial. That's what this is. That's what President Obama proposed today. And it is stunning, particularly to hear President Obama claim the power to keep people in prison indefinitely with no charges against them, no conviction, no sentence, just imprisonment. It's particularly stunning to hear him make that claim in the middle of a speech that was all about the rule of law.
A new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
We must do so with an abiding confidence in the rule of law. Our government was defending positions that undermine the rule of law to ensure that they are in line with the rule of law.
How can a president speak the kind of poetry that President Obama does about the rule of law and call for the power to indefinitely, preventively imprison people because they might commit crimes in the future? How can those two things coexist in the same man, even in the same speech?
If and when we determine that the United States must hold individuals to keep them from carrying out an act of war, we will do so within a system that involves judicial and congressional oversight.
You'll construct a legal regime to make indefinite detention legal. You will, what does he say? Develop an appropriate legal regime. So you can construct a whole new system outside the courts, even outside the military commissions, so that you can indefinitely imprison people without charges. And you'll build that system from scratch. So you could get arrested today and locked up without a trial, without being convicted, without being sentenced for, say, 10 years, until the threat of your future criminal behavior passes. Prolonged detention, he's calling it. This was a beautiful speech from President Obama today with patriotic, moving, even poetic language about the rule of law and the Constitution, and one of the most radical proposals for defying the Constitution that we have ever heard made to the American people.
I have to tell you, I was stunned when I heard those words come out of his mouth. And the same way that you did. This has never been done before. It is completely outside of the realm of what's constitutionally permissible. And it's, frankly, shocking and deeply disappointing he would even go there when George Bush didn't even go there.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
they scanned this, which they say they did, it would all be on one layer. However, here there are multiple layers, as you can see, and even inside these there's more. This is the original one, and I'll toggle the visibility of that so you can see the stuff that was original.
Not the birth certificate, and told everybody this was it, and it was a birth certificate, and no long form existed, and you were a conspiracy theorist if you said something else existed. Now they've released this, so remember that lie. And then
the document.
We know they've been covering up his records. They've spent millions of dollars blocking lawsuits about this. Why didn't they just release it? If we go back 2.5 years ago, they released the receipt of the live birth.
This issue has been going on for 2.5 years now. I think it started during the campaign.
The whitehouse.gov, Obama's long-form birth certificate, whitehouse.gov. So we're going to click on that. Here's what everybody's been looking at today. Here's
Rob and others in the office, all the Photoshop people, all the video editors, including folks with degrees from universities in this, came to me and they said, my God, this is totally fake. Then they went and checked the big Photoshop sites, as I said, and they're all saying this is fake.